Okay, well, hopefully I should be live. Is it gonna go live? Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm live now. Um, there's a delay. Um, so hopefully people will start to see this. Apologies for the uh for the delay. I had some technical issues. Still have some technical issues. Currently don't have the chat on my screen, so but I've gone on a separate YouTube on my phone. So if you chat, then I can look at my phone. Um, but yeah, to whoever's in the live at the moment. I can't see who's watching at the moment, but I hope you're all good. Don't be afraid to put anything in the chat. I don't want to be talking to a brick wall. But to anyone that's here, thank you for watching. This was a very last minute spur of the moment decision yesterday. I was like, oh, I should just do a live stream tomorrow with about all the new X-Men books. And I'm using a streaming software, so I should be able to put things up on the screen. Um, I haven't actually tested this out yet, so if everything goes wrong, just bear with me. But let me just test this out now, just to see. Hold on, we will get this up, and that's just going to do that. Right, hold on with me 1 second. It's already broken. Wait, let me see. I already had some first. Boom. Okay, something like this. I just picked a random one. I hope this appears on the screen. Um, let me know. I think there is a bit of a delay. But we'll see. Oh, there we go. I'm just watching it on my screen, so I can see that it worked. Okay, so yeah, basically, um, I don't know if people watching have seen about the new X-Men event, Age of Revelation. It's going to start in October, but there is an issue zero that's coming out next week. So obviously, I don't know anything about what's going to happen beyond what we've seen yesterday. I don't have any insider knowledge as much as I wish I did. Um, Also, actually, can people hear me? That's the other thing. Can people hear me? Can someone put in the chat that they can hear me? Because I don't want to have just been speaking to I don't want to have been mute this whole time. But I'm just going to carry on, and if I see anything, then let me know. Anyway, so unfortunately, oh, I can see. Oh my god, I can see the comments. They've just come through. Oh my god, hi Isaiah, hi boy. How are you? I hope you're all good. So anyway, I'm glad it's working. So as I was saying, we've got that new X-Men event coming in October. I don't know anything. I just know what we've seen so far. Now I'm gonna see if I can get this photo up. Hi everyone. Oh my gosh, streaming is not for the thing. TikTok streaming is much easier than this. Ah, oh, boom. Okay, it's on the screen at least. So let me just. That works, right? It's good enough. Well, we're working with it on the fly. Okay, so um, what was I saying? So yeah, Age of Revelation, as we know, starts in October. Don't know anything besides what we've seen in the covers. And as I was saying and as I'm sure you've all seen, there's like 16 new books, which is an insane number of books. I don't know if there's ever been a time where there's been 16 new books all happening at the same time. X-Men related books. Um, not even in the original Age of Apocalypse was there that many. There was what, like five? So yeah, crazy times, lots of money to be spent. So essentially, I'm just looking at the comments. Does Magneto have a wing cape? Are they feathers? It looks like it, though. I guess spoilers for a bit in the future. I was going to say that I don't know whether that's actually Magneto. I think that might be because the other thing about Age of Revelation is that it's set 10 years in the future. Um, so not in the present day. But you think how Magneto is at the moment. He's not very powerful. Um, he's pretty weak because of the RODS. So I know it's a bit of a sad note, but I think he might not be alive. So I have a feeling this might actually be Ben Liu, who is a new character as part of the X-Men series, the main X-Men series, whose ability is to create illusions. So I think it might be him in disguise. Considering the other new, oh, I'm pointing at the wrong, pointing at the, it's reversed. The other new character, Jen, is on the other side. Um, there we go. I'm getting used to it being reversed. And she can like transform her body, and so I have a feeling this might not be Magneto, but it's actually Ben. Unless I mean, it would be cool, wouldn't it, if Zorn was Magneto? But I don't think they'd do that again. So yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna start. I'm just gonna figure out which ones. Okay, so that is that. Okay, so that's gone. Okay, so the first one we're going to talk about, first X-Men book is Age of X. One sec. Again, thank you so much for being with me while I do this. Okay, it popped up. Oh gosh. Okay, so I'm starting with Amazing X-Men. I have a feeling that this is going to be the flagship. It's got the same classic X-Men logo as what we've seen on the cover I was just showing you. So I have a feeling this is going to be the one by Jed MacKay. Okay, and I think it's going to be the team we saw on that book just there. So let me just, nope, that's too long. Hold on. What I'll do instead is move this if I can. There we go. Nope, that's the wrong one. And there we go. There we go. Okay, so I have a feeling this is going to be the Amazing X-Men team. So it looks like Cyclops, Zorn, Magneto, Jen, Glob with a gun. Now, if you know me, you know I don't like Glob, but I have to admit, this is pretty cool. This is pretty cool from Glob. I know I'm a Glob hater, but like I guess this is pretty cool. Also potentially Wolverine. Hold on, let me just if we get rid of that, and how can I delete that? There you go. Right, so I've just moved that. Hold on. Okay. Thank you all so much for bearing with me as I did. Oh, and that was way zoomed in. Oh God. Okay. Why is it so big? Oh gosh. Well, jump scare. Well, I need like a. We'll be back shortly. Okay. Well, while the screen is covered, you can see there's Wolverine here. There's also Psylocke. Wolverine, I guess, has lost half his face. We're literally in. Um, we're literally going back to like 1995 with the like Wolverine with no nose, I guess. Um, I'm just gonna scroll down. Okay, again, Glob is there. Well, I'm just gonna look at the comments as well. I'm inclined to agree. Magneto wouldn't be making that much of a horrendous of a fashion and branding choice. Oh my god, Armored Up Glob. He does not want to be there. Well, I wouldn't want to be either. No more Glob slander. No, Isaiah. This is Glob slander central. You know me. I don't. It's always going to be like that, really. And then obviously there's Beast as well, but he's looking very evil, I suppose. Okay, right. I'm gonna just get rid of that. I'm back. I'm back. Okay, so I'm thinking that Amazing X-Men. That's pretty clear, cut and dry, right? So there's this one, and we'll get rid of that as well. So that's Amazing X-Men. I don't know. Is there any? Have you got any other suggestions of who might be on the team? So I'm thinking, as I said, uh, Cyclops, Magneto, Jen, Beast, Glob, Psylocke, and Wolverine, which is an odd choice considering they currently aren't like friendly, but there we go. So the next title I'm gonna go with is another one here. Hold on. We're gonna just get it up. I'm not gonna keep pressing it like that. We'll just get it up now. Right, now my screen is just frozen, so I don't know if you can see anything while I do this. So bear with me 2 secs. I'm going to look at the comments as well while it's loading. Okay. Hold on. Right, well, if that one's not working, I'm going to go with a different one. Just going to go with a random one that's here. Da, da, da. If there's one here. Okay. Oh, there we go. It's there. Got it up. Okay, so Unbreakable X-Men. Now, in my mind, I was thinking this one's going to be right. So if you think about, there's three main X-Men books that it looks like from this here, right? We've got Amazing X-Men, Unbreakable X-Men, and Expatriate X-Men or Expatriate. And if you think about it, we've got three main X-Men flagship title books at the moment. Okay, we've got Adjectiveless X-Men, Uncanny X-Men, and Extraordinary X-Men. Right. So I feel like the titling lines up. So I'm feeling this is going to be like a rogues team in the future book. So obviously that's like Rogue, Gambit. We know obviously Wolverine is probably not with that team. Um, who else? I can't remember. Jubilee, Nightcrawler, and obviously the Outliers. I don't know. We might have some differences. Now, I actually think though that the Outliers might be in a separate team. Um, but we'll see if that's accurate or not. Let me see if I can actually, if I rest my phone, then I can look at it without looking down. So smart. Okay. Put Glow on every team. Let's not put him on any team. Let's just ban him to the wastelands. Take Cyclops and Wolverine off every time. Look, I mean, if we're gonna have them on teams, why not put them together? You know, that's fun. Is this whole era going to be post-apocalyptic time jump? Who asked for this again? Well, first of all, boy, yes, it's going to be. This is set 10 years in the future. So it is just going to be all post-apocalyptic time jump, even though it's not supposed to be apocalyptic. Like the thing that it mentioned in the like press release, I guess, is that it's a mutant utopia, but um and like yeah, it's a mutant utopia that's across half of America, but the secret is that humanity is slowly being erased, and like Doug Revelation's power has like evolved so much so that he can like create worlds or something like that. I don't know whether I was misreading that or whether he can speak to like the Earth itself as if it was like Krakoa. I don't know, but yeah. So it's gonna be another post-apocalyptic one, unfortunately, for you. But I'm just gonna try and find the fun in the apocalypse, you know. So yeah, but that's my theory with Unbreakable X-Men. It's just that it's Rogue's team. Now, actually, I don't think Rogue will be on the team either. I've got some theories about that. But next, the next one I will go with, I don't know if anyone's got any things they want to say about Unbreakable X-Men, whether that might mean we have some Unbreakable X-Men, maybe Colossus. Maybe Colossus is on Unbreakable X-Men because he is like unbreakable. Maybe it's Colossus and Juggernaut. Wait, wait. Now I'm talking about Juggernaut. Where do we think Juggernaut has gone? Because I have not seen him anywhere. Because this is a mutant utopia, do you think he got murdered? I'm putting it out there to the chat. Do you think in this future timeline that Juggernaut is like dead or in prison, or do you think he's gonna still be part of the X-Men? It's just dawned on me now as I'm talking. So let me know while I'm getting the next one up, which will be ooh, choices. Oh my gosh. But let me know. Every time it clicks and then it goes away. Oh. Okay, hold on, this one here. We're gonna just do that. So the next one I'm gonna talk about is X-Vengers, and I'm just gonna look at the boy. You said, "Lord, let him be gone." Well, I don't know. I think Juggernaut on the X-Men's actually been quite fun. Like, I wasn't a fan that he won the X-Men vote, but look, whether it was rigged or not, but we can only live with. We got to make do with what we were given, and you know what? He's been kind of fun. I'll take it. Anyway, next one we're going to talk about is going to be X-Vengers. Obviously, this means that there's going to be an Avengers team of X-Men. I'm assuming. Um, I suppose in the hold on. I suppose in the vein of Uncanny Avengers, maybe. Um, I don't really. This is probably one of the ones where it's like so vague in the sense of X Avengers. That could mean anyone really. Like, I guess it's X-Men Avengers. So does that mean it's going to just be X-Men? Are there going to be some humans? Maybe they're working with the Resistance, because also in this future there's going to be like a resistance against Revelation. So is this going to be like, I don't know, Firestar, and like Cannibal and like Sunspot maybe? I'm just thinking of like maybe this is like all previous X-Men Avengers. I don't know whether that's um a good idea or not. Who knows? I'm just gonna every time I click on this. Right. I promise the next live stream I do will be a bit more. I'll work on it before I start. We do another live stream. Um. Right. But yeah, if you got any suggestions, let me know. I'm a bit. It's a fun idea, but I'm like, this literally could be anyone. So I'm a bit. I'm just a bit cautious with this one. Unbreakable X-Men, and it's Monet, Frenzy, Emma, Cannibal. Oh, yeah, I guess Monet works. Yeah, Frenzy. Oh, please have Frenzy. That's the other thing, is like there's no. I guess spoilers for the rest of these books. There's no like X Factor equivalent. So if Frenzy makes it onto that team, I'll be happy. Um, Okay, right. I'm gonna leave that there. If there's any other suggestions you have for the X-Vengers, let me know, and I will just make that invisible for the time being. Um, time. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. Okay. The next one was, I guess, a bit of a shock to me, honestly, because when I first read it, when I first saw the whole list of all the titles, I read that as Iron Frost. So I was thinking, oh my gosh, so it's like Emma Frost is like Iron Fist. But no, it's Iron and Frost. So that clearly means that we're gonna see a Emma Frost Iron Man reunion. Um so to all the Scammer fans out there, you lost, we lost. Um but it looks like we're gonna be getting Emma and Tony working together again. Probably they're going to be on the Resistance again. Who knows? Now, who wanted that? I see, Isaiah, you just said. Look, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I think during the Cocoa, during the like that end bit with Emma and Tony, it kind of worked. Like, I saw the vision in the end, but I don't know if we needed it again. You know, we'll see, we'll see. But the other thing as well to note is that no, they haven't said anything about the time length of these books of this event, whether this is, 1 month, which I don't think it would be, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months. Usual events are like 6 months long. So could this be the event for October through March? And that sounds crazy, but I don't know. Um, I want Fuse and America Chavez from West Coast Avengers on X-Vengers. That would be cool if we did get some like lesser known. Well, America Chavez is pretty well known, but some maybe more some characters that are stuck in comic book limbo in the books. That'd be fun. But yeah, so Iron and Frost. It looks like Emma and Tony are being reunited. We're not getting any more. We're not getting a Skemmer reunion or anything like that. Which is sad, but I guess we'll see. Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it'll be fun. Maybe it'll be fun. We'll have to see. That one. Okay, that's Iron and Frost. I don't know if anyone else has any like questions. Let me know. I've realized there's probably about like a 20-second delay or something on the live stream, so we'll see. Okay, gonna get rid of this one. Gonna get rid of this one. And then we're gonna go do this one. Which one will it be? Okay. Okay. This one was, I think, one of the most surprising announcements, and probably the first one I saw. Like when you see the whole 16 grid, I think this was the first one I saw, which was Cloak or Dagger. Now, originally I thought you will think oh, it's Cloak and Dagger, but I think there's a importance in it saying Cloak or Dagger, which means there could be several different suggestions with this. Obviously, the first one is that it could be Cloak or Dagger. And let me see if this one will work. Now I'm scared if I put this image up if it will make it big. We'll have to see though. It didn't. Oh, okay. So of course it could just be Cloak and Dagger, which is it's fun I guess. And with like Marvel Rivals, um, they're definitely a bit more popular again. I think as well the other thing to think about is in the I don't know if you're watching and you don't play Marvel Rivals, in the game you can only play Cloak or Dagger one at a time. You can't play them together. They switch, they're like fused or something in like they're quantum entangled or something like that. So they like exist within the same space. And so you switch between them. So that sort of links into the Cloak or Dagger sort of bit. Okay, so and it'd be fun to have them back, sort of involved in the X-Men sort of things, because obviously they were part of the Dark X-Men. They technically count if you look at any list of official X-Men, they technically count as X-Men, or as in like X-Men members. So I guess that would be fun. But I also saw some suggestions that it could be. Hold on. Nope, that didn't work. Hold on. Suspense. I'm keeping you all in suspense. Okay. Oh. Well. I'm just gonna keep it here, and I'll. There you go. Okay. The other suggestion, the one of the other suggestions, which I think is a bit far fetched, but we'll take it. Maybe is that it's Nightcrawler and it's Psylocke, where I guess Nightcrawler is Cloak and Psylocke is Dagger in this scenario. I don't know. I just thought I put it here because I saw it and I thought that is quite that's an interesting idea. I don't know whether I see it, but again, I thought I'd mention it just in case. I don't know. Again, as I said in my Red on Grey Malcolm video, they literally do not have a relationship. The longest they've spent together is this like 5 minutes fighting each other. So, I mean, it would be an interesting dynamic. I don't know whether it would work, but again, that's another suggestion. The other one I saw as well is that maybe this is just the Psylocke book reimagined, maybe, or like this is what will be written by Alyssa Wong, who's currently writing the Nightcrawler, not Nightcrawler, sorry, the Psylocke book. But let me just get rid of that. But the other thing that I think I saw someone mention in the Cerebro Discord is, hold on, let me see where it is. If I've got it, maybe I don't. Oh, I thought I had it. Oops, well. Oh, there it is. Hold on, I'm blind. There you go. Okay, so again, another book that's been coming out recently, but isn't um well, is ending obviously for this event, is Magic. Now the current Magic series has basically been a Danny Moonstar Magic team up book, which I've really enjoyed. The past few issues have been, and there's this one bit where they said Hook and Dagger. Maybe this is just an off cuff thing, but they said like Hook and Dagger, which is close to Cloak or Dagger. So maybe it's actually the Magic book like reimagined, and Magic is the Cloak in this scenario, and Dagger is Danny Moonstar in this scenario. I'm again not too sure. I kind of would like it to actually just be Cloak and Dagger, but if it's the Magic book, because there's not really any other book I can see Magic being part of. She's obviously not part of Cyclops' team anymore. Well, that we can see. So maybe she's become Cloak and Dagger with Danny. I'll just have a look at some of the comments. Maybe Cloak and Dagger are beefing. Maybe it's just interesting that they'd be involved in this event at all, considering they haven't like it. There's not been any. They've not been in any X-Men stuff at all recently, or anything. I don't know. I haven't been like caught up with what they're doing. So maybe they are, but I haven't seen anything. And they're gonna find a way to make it Laura, Wolverine, and Kitty. Well, funny you talk about Laura because let me just get rid of these. I think that unless anyone's got any sort of thoughts about Cloak or Dagger that I've mentioned, whether you agree with them or you don't agree with them, let me know. But what I'm gonna do now is go on to the next one, which is I'm gonna make it a segue into where is this? I've lost. Nope, got it. Which is that Laura Kinney, obviously at the moment it's Laura Kinney Wolverine, is going to get her own title again, but this time it's Laura Kinney Sabretooth. So I have a feeling Laura won't be Dagger to Kitty's Cloak, if that's what you were thinking, boy. Because she's going to be Sabretooth instead, which is interesting, but I'm like, how? But I guess I like this change. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, I don't know if anyone has any thoughts about this one, about Laura being Sabretooth. I'm just glad that the books are, I guess, continuing. Um, I've enjoyed the last few issues of Laura's book, so I'm glad it's continuing in its forms. I don't really there's not really much to talk about with this. It's obviously just, I guess, is Laura like so traumatized by this future or something that she becomes a Sabretooth? Um, like her dad's mortal enemy? Again, but I think it's a cool play on that there. I don't know, does anyone else have any things to say with Laura I'm just looking here. Thank you for the thumbs up as well. Might be an AU where she's cloned from Sabretooth instead. Ooh, okay, okay. Okay, so I see. Because, I mean, the AU is like 10 years from our present, so it's just 10 years in the future from the now. So, potentially, or maybe Laura, like, died, and so she was cloned. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I see your point there. Maybe she died and then was reborn somehow, but with Sabretooth. I see. I can see the vision with that. Okay. Um, the next one I'm gonna go to is gonna be okay. Okay, this one, which is very interesting to me, which is Expatriate X-Men. Um, Obviously, when I was talking earlier about the names and which and like what corresponds to who, which book corresponds to which title. I'm thinking this one is the Exceptional X-Men title, um, which, as we saw earlier, is this one. Well, it's the one with Kitty and Emma, and oh, of course, it has to go big. Um, of course, but yes. So, you're just gonna, we're just gonna, what am I gonna do with this? Hold on. Just gonna make that invisible. With that one, okay. So with Emma, with Kitty, with Bronze, with Axo, with Melee, I guess it'd be that, but I suppose not Emma anymore. Now, the funny thing is, when I was getting this stuff ready for this stream, I remember that in the time slide book from the very beginning of the year, which teases things that happen, events and things like that, we actually had a glimpse into this future, because Bishop and Cable went there, and okay, fingers crossed it doesn't. Okay, we'll just make it a bit smaller. Right. So here we can see that Bronze is still an X-Man in the future. She's not dead. She lives, um, which is exciting, you know. But the interesting thing to me when I was reading this is that she said, did she say it here? Sorry. Jitter. Okay, so in the corner, you can't see it because it's been cut off. Hold on. But in this very bottom corner of the word bubble, she says here, I'm one of the few X-Men left. Jitter sent me here when we picked up the time disruption. So, my radical theory for this book is that it's not got Kitty. Well, it might have Kitty, but I think this is going to be a book all about Bronze, Axo, Melee, and um the Outliers. So wait, and I just see by your comment. I had to Google expatriate law, manifesting that it's mutants who grew up on Krakoa but lost their home, whether it's from the end of Krakoa era or later. Interesting. I mean, potentially. So I'm just thinking it might. I guess that might work. I just think this is all the young mutants from now. So as I said, the Exceptional X-Men kids and the Outliers from the Uncanny X-Men book. Want to bring this one over, but is it going to be big? I don't know. We'll see. Oh, well, hold on. Oh my gosh. There you go. Is it gonna, oh, it's not even let me. It's not even letting me add it now. Okay, well, I can. If you don't know what the the outliers look like, then just imagine. But um, hold on. Let me see if I can delete some other things, and maybe that will let me do it. But yeah, I'm thinking. I think it's the outliers and exceptional together because, and honestly, I think that'd be good because we haven't got that yet. We literally the Hellfire Gala, the Hellfire Vigil. Sorry, we didn't get any of that, which was so upsetting. Um, okay, I just won't add. Okay, it won't let me add the thing, but you know what the outliers look like. Um, so I'm thinking they might all be on a team together, which I think would be pretty cool. That's my grand suggestion for the Expatriate X-Men. Again, I think boy it adds up a bit with the googling of what expatriate means. Like I'm assuming it's like people that move. They move, right? It's people that move. So move from a different country. So maybe it's that. And the thing is as well, I guess, while we're talking about sort of the young X-Men, it has been revealed by one of the writers of NYX that straight away in the beginning of the era, it was they had pitched a book for this event. So obviously this has been in the works now for I suppose a year, if not more. And they were gonna have their book be changed as well, and it was gonna be NY Exiles. Um, so obviously play on that, and that um local who was like one of those new mutants that were introduced, he was gonna have merged with New York. He was gonna have merged with New York, and it was gonna become like a living city, and they were gonna be like a resistance against the revelation or what have you. So that, and I feel like maybe this is going to be the book. I mean, maybe this book would have been existing anyway, but I don't know. That sounds interesting. Um, that sounded interesting. Obviously, it's not going to happen. They've come out and said like that was what they pitched, that was what they planned, but obviously NYX didn't get far enough to continue, so it's not happening. But I just thought that was an interesting point to add with that there. Okay, so that's really it for the Expatriate one. I just think it's going to be a young team book, maybe Kitty as well. And oh, and the other thing I guess is the final issue, actually. Oh, well, not the final issue. The latest issue we've seen for Exceptional X-Men, Exceptional X-Men 13, which is coming out in September, is Kitty Pryde time traveling back to the past. So maybe, and I've seen some people say this, right? So maybe Kitty is going to be the Bishop. So in Age of Apocalypse, Bishop time travels. Well, is stuck in the bubble or whatever, and he's the only person that remembers how things were, right? So maybe Kitty is somehow going to be, I don't know, be involved in sort of time travel ways. Who knows? That's just another thing I've seen that people have said, but maybe the time travel in that is going to end up with her being unstuck in time or what have you, and she's going to be the one to help fix it. I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so that one's there. Hold on. And okay, so the next one we'll do is oh, this one. Okay, the next one, which is very interesting, Longshots. Now, obviously, and this is with the Longshot, like logo as well. But funny thing is that Longshot himself hasn't been like an X-Man uh, officially, well, like as part of the team in decades at this point. Once he left in the 90s, that was it, really. And so I think, and I think other people have seen this as well, that they think this is going to be like the oh, again with the oh my gosh, hold on. they think it's gonna be the Dazzler equivalent. So, and I guess if you haven't read the Hellfire Vigil just yet, basically at the end of that, Dazzler gets arrested, and nobody stops her. Nobody stops her from getting arrested. They just go and boo. They literally just boo as Dazzler gets arrested. So maybe this is a book about Shatterstar and Longshot, maybe Richter, and they break Dazzler out of the prison. I mean, I don't know whether the prison's going to still be there. You know, in 10 years in the future, when when Revelation is leading things. But we'll see. We'll see. And the thing is as well, I think with with the location of everything, they said that Revelations like Mutant Utopia is from the Atlantic to the Mississippi River. Now, obviously, I'm not American. I don't know like geography like that. I don't know American geography like that. But I assume the Atlantic is by New York, yes. Like that's the Atlantic Ocean is on the east side. And so I'm going to assume it's that way. So you'd assume that Westchester and the Grey Mountain Prison would be done for, but who knows? I'd be there for that. Just going to look at the comments as well. Is Longshot Shatterstar's father, or is Shatterstar Longshot's father? Well, Mutant Monroe, both. They are both each other's father and grandfather, and yeah, no, they're both each other's father, and then they are themselves their own grandfather. It's that family is confusing. This is my time travel. Time travel is dangerous. Don't mess with it. And I see as well, boy, you saying potential Richter content. I'm in. You know, I would be so excited because obviously Shatterstar, Richter, we've not seen them all ever. They were at the Hellfire Vigil, but yeah, it's either going to be that or well, you think it has to include Longshot. Otherwise, why would you call it Longshots? So it's either that was going to have like her team members like multiple man and strong guy and wind dancer and shark girl maybe as well. I don't particularly care for them, but I would take Longshot and Shatterstar and Richter. So that's what I'm gonna imagine that. Okay. So there's that one. That's another interesting one. Again, that one's really interesting to me. Longshots. I think that's really cool. And the next one we're gonna do is right. Um, is this one Omega Kids, which wow. I think there's two ways that this book could go. Okay. Either it goes with um either we get the one the only Quentin Quire, which I think is where it's gonna go. Or it could be Omega Red. But I think it's gonna be Quentin Quire. Maybe he's like again, he's not part of the Amazing X-Men team, it looks like. So maybe he's like running a school? Running a school, maybe? I don't know. Oh, Dune, you just had the same idea. Kid Omega starts a school for mutants. That's what I'm thinking. Maybe that would be kind of cool. Maybe it's Kid Omega and his school for Omega mutants potentially. Um, but yeah, maybe this is like a New Mutants comparison. Who knows? I have no idea. But again, another interesting title. Um, I can't imagine Quentin Quire to be that good of a teacher though. So we'll see how that goes. Really, probably a bit of a mess. Um, we'll see though. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Really, it's either Quentin Quire at Kid Omega or Omega Red. Personally, I think it obviously suits it better if it's Kid Omega as well. There's sort of like graffiti. There's a graffiti element to it. Um, so yeah, but yeah, that's that one. Again, I think we'll see how that goes. I'm gonna look at the comments as well. Genius. I feel like Wolverine and the X-Men set that up a little. I suppose that was what, a decade old though, but I suppose it is quite a popular book. We're gonna see him force unlocking kids' powers potential to make them Omega. Oh, oh. That would be kind of cool though, I guess. Oh, but okay. Now here's the thing. Do you think he's gonna be part of Revelation's side, right? Because that's the thing. There's a ragtag group apparently that's opposed to Revelation, but I suppose everyone else isn't. So I think Omega Kids with Quentin Quire, he's gonna be pro Revelation. Um, so that's gonna be interesting to see, but exciting, exciting. Again, another book that interested me. Um, so there's that one. Okay, what's next? What's next? We have uh, right, this one, Sinister's Six, which is obviously a play on the Sinister Six, but it's going to be led by Sinister. Now, does anyone have any ideas who Sinister's Six could be? Now, I think obviously it's going to be, I don't know. I think I think maybe that we could get a Madeline Pryor, well, like a Maddie clone. Maybe she's leading the Sinister Six. That'd be cool, even if it's not like the real Madeline Pryor. Um, but I'm just trying to think, who would you want to see as part of Sinister's Six? Let me know. Um, and we will talk about it. At least, yeah. Let me look. At least one more order, right? Grey Crow. Okay, okay. That's Dune. Thank you for that suggestion. Um, Grey Crow, yeah, obviously he's been a bit of a part of Psylocke at the moment. Maybe Sinister Six is going to be like a Hellions Redux, you know, because that was led by Mr. Sinister. Oh, that would be cool, wouldn't it? Um, so maybe it would be like Grey Crow. Maybe it'd be like, I don't know, Empath. I mean, really, it could be anyone, but I'm gonna say Grey Crow, a clone of Maddie, or Jean Grey clone. You know, um, hmm. Maybe it will have Axo as well from Exceptional X-Men. Maybe because obviously in the recent issues of Exceptional X-Men, he like had cloned Axo. Maybe it's just going to be a bunch of clones, or maybe we see them and we think, oh my god, these characters are evil, but they all turn out to be clones. I'm gonna guess that that's the big reveal. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, but maybe that's the big reveal. I really doubt it would be the six pack, but maybe. Maybe. And to be honest, Dune, I've not read anything about the six pack. I know that's with is it George the Washington, the person that one guy from X Force slash Wolverine, something Washington. That's like this is my one. The X Force '90s stuff is like my one um blind spot really. Well, my biggest. So but Bridge, GW Bridge. That was it. But yeah, so I'm very curious to see about that one as well. And actually, while we're talking, I guess the other thing is, what who out of all these books, which ones are you gonna which ones would you buy straight away or like read straight away? Which ones would you wait, and which ones are you just not interested in? Let me know. Obviously, don't have to don't have to do it now while we're still going through them, but when we get to the end episodes, let me know which ones you're like, yes, these are the ones I really want now. These are the ones I don't care about. These are the ones I'm most interested in. So there's this one, there's that one. Right, the next one we're going to do is this one here. Again, thank you so much for being with me, everyone. Um, while I have all these technical issues and we're learning together. But okay, next one we have is Undead-Pool, which I feel like is quite self-explanatory. I haven't been reading the current Deadpool. I know apparently it is an ex-office book. I think Deadpool lost his powers at one point, and then his daughter became Deadpool, and now they're Deadpools together, which I think is fun. Is it going to get big? Oh, it's not. Thank gosh. So yeah, obviously, so they're Deadpools together, but this is Wade's daughter Ellie, I believe. Um, so I think the obvious thing to say is obviously it's just like a undead Deadpool. Like it's gonna be Wade and he's dead. But I think it would be more interesting if the book is just Ellie as Deadpool. Um, that I think that would be super interesting. Something different. Maybe I don't know. I think she has his healing factor, but none of the sort of crazy fourth wall breaking stuff. Um, but no, again, pretty self-explanatory book. But maybe there's a twist in there somewhere about Deadpool. Who knows? That was another quick one. Unless anyone's got any thoughts about Deadpool, um, beyond that he should never join the X-Men. Um, right, the next one we're gonna do is okay. Okay, we've only got like two more left, three more. We've sped through this, guys. Thank you so much. I hope everyone is enjoying the first live. I know it's been a bit hectic, but thank you. I'm gonna do this one if I can find it. Oh, well, it's not there, so we're not gonna do that one. We'll just do this one instead. Yes, Rogue Storm. Now this is the one that really caught my attention, obviously because it's Storm, but it's not just any old Storm, is it? No, it's Rogue Storm. Now, the first thing I thought about was that this was actually Rogue Storm from the in early Uncanny X-Men, like 100 and what have you. Not Rogue Storm gets uh, trapped by Doctor Doom, and then because of the claustrophobia, sort of like goes rogue, I guess, and so reaches like a new state of elementalness. So I feel like it's obviously a reference to that. I would show you the photo, but it's not letting me because apparently it's the wrong format. So you're not going to see the photo of Rogue Storm, but just imagine Rogue Storm. Okay. Um, and so that's I think the first point of call. But when you look at the title, you'll realize that it's actually also in with the Rogue font. Okay. So if you can see here that the Rogue font is exactly the same. So the other suggestion, I suppose, is this like Rogue and Storm together? I don't know. What do people think? I mean, it'd be fun. We've not really seen them interact that much in this era. It's been what they interacted a bit with in like Storm issue 3. Um, but I just interesting that interesting title. Maybe they just used it as like a reference. Um, but yeah. So I'm thinking especially because it's also, I think, been pretty much confirmed that Murewa Ayodele, who's writing Storm, is going to be writing Rogue Storm. He says, after the Thunder War, she's shredding the shedding the Storm title to become Rogue Storm. So I think, or maybe it's going to be like an evolution of her as being possessed by Eternity, um, something like that. But either way, I'm excited. I suppose maybe we can see Storm let loose. But then the other thing is like, how it's just it's there's just no way to understand how did they end up in that situation. I'm so curious of like how they let if Revelation is doing all these bad things, how did they let him do that, you know? And what did the characters think of it? So that's very interesting there. We'll see. I'm just gonna read back through some of the comments as well. Thank you all so much for being with me. So oh, I've only Jem Miles, no worries. Dune. What happened to Mother Righteous and all the other Sinisters? I never finished Cocoa Era books. Well, Meet Monroe. Basically, Dr. Stasis got murdered. Mother Righteous got jailed and then murdered by Mystique. No. Yes. Yes, she got murdered by Mystique. Yeah. And then Orbis Solaris still exists. He was actually just in Imperial X-Men. Not Imperial X-Men, sorry. Imperial, the event. You could see him in his orb. So, and then obviously Mr. Sinister is just alive. So, Mother Righteous dead. Dr. Stasis dead, but the other two are still alive. But I don't think we'll hear much from him. It's hard to say when we only have title cards. That's fair. That's fair. I guess it's just on what on the title cards. Are you most interested by? Will win either way. Not liking Rogue this era and never read her back then. So, oh, so you're not really a Rogue fan. Well, again, I'm not a big fan of Rogue. How Rogue's been written now either. She feels very out of character. Um, very out of character. It's not what I just didn't feel like Rogue to me. But really, I guess that's something we can't control. It's happened. Um, what I'm just gonna do now is send this over to myself. 1 second. I'm airdropping myself one photo I missed. Okay. So the next one we're gonna talk about, if I can drag it, is boom. Okay. That worked out. Right. Oop. Okay. Oh, there you go. Why does it keep visiting? There you go. Okay. So the next book we can talk about is Binary. Now, immediately this is like, whoa, who could this be? What is this about? Now, I think everyone's first thought is that it's obviously Binary in terms of like it's Carol. Um, obviously she became Binary in the X-Men comics. Oh my gosh, I didn't expect that to be going off. I don't know if everyone heard that, but there we go. Um, so we got Binary. I think that's everyone's first suggestion. That's like the biggest thing that you might think of. Um, but when you look a bit closer, I think this is actually going to be Phoenix or a Phoenix book. Just because, hold on. Hopefully this will, oh, it's big again. What a surprise. Um, just because, well, the wings, really, the wings on that, and that used to be the old Phoenix logo. It used to have wings. So So yeah, I think the old Phoenix logo used to have wings on the side, like in the Phoenix Resurrection era. So I feel like it's going to be the book that takes over from that. But we'll just have to see um, what that means. Again, the wings on the side, but then the star in the middle is very Carol, isn't it? It's very Captain Marvel. So it's really anyone's game. The other suggestion, which could now this could be crazy, this could be crazy, is what if it is? Oh, it doesn't work. Great, it doesn't work. Well, what if it is? Um, oh, both of them are gone. Oh. What if it is uh, Kamala? What if Kamala is binary? Now, I know that sounds crazy. Um, yeah, sounds like a crazy suggestion, but out out of all the other books, I don't. There's nothing, no mention of Miss Marvel. So what if she becomes binary? That is the other. That's the far out there suggestion. Um, Not something I really think would happen. I think this is just going to be the Phoenix book retitled. Interesting as well how things will have changed for Jean in 10 years. Um, but again, it's probably her, but we'll see, I suppose. And I'm just going to look at some of your comments as well while this is all loading up. So I can see here. Where is my Phoenix Storm book though? Unfortunately, I guess we're not getting that. That would be fun though, wouldn't it? Um, and then we've got on Crisis, High Crisis. Hope you're all good. Carol isn't X-Men editorial anymore, right? So it would be weird if it was her. True, but as we've seen, there is some non-X-Men books being included in the line, such as X-Vengers and the next book I'm gonna get on, which again is not X-Men related. Carol doesn't have a book for now. Would be interesting to put it into this or have an X-Men character as binary. Ooh, Kamala, that would be well with her new powers. Again, that's another good point, Crisis. Like, obviously, Kamala's just figuring out what her new powers are. I still don't know what they are. But maybe in the 10 years of the Age of Revolution, Revelation, the 10 years in the Age of Revelation, maybe they would have, maybe that would have resolved itself. But we'll see. So that's binary. Again, I think another interesting one which has several different potential things. Now, what have we got left? What have we got left? Okay. We have. We'll do this one first because I think it's a bit easier to talk about. The Last Wolverine. I feel like it's again self-explanatory in that it's that's probably going to be Logan. As we've already seen with this. Oh, I don't want to summon this again. Hold on. Well, okay. Get ready. Ooh. So, as you can all see, obviously Wolverine is missing his face, as we said earlier. Obviously, time is a flat circle. So maybe it's Wolverine, but I'm just seeing the comments now about Gabby. Maybe it is Gabby. That would be fun, wouldn't it? I mean, obviously, if Laura's going to be Sabretooth, then you need a Wolverine to a Sabretooth. What if they have what if they are okay, but that it could be sad if they're like enemies though. And maybe that's the thing is that Gabby's Wolverine and Laura's Sabretooth and they don't get on. Maybe they do get on, but maybe in this Age of Revelation they've fallen out. So again, but also it could just be Wolverine. Like he's known to have more than one book at a time or be in one book. So maybe we could get both. And as I said, time is a flat circle. He's back to having no nose. We're back in 1995 again, and I wasn't even alive then, so this is all new to me now. So Yeah, so that's really it with Wolverine. I didn't even think about Gabby as Wolverine, which I like even better. So maybe we'll see. And I'm gonna read your comments as well. Look, I'm holding out hope that this is Logan is a horseman or something, because in classic AOA, he's not necessarily the Wolverine. Okay, okay, I see your point. If we're gonna be an Age of Apocalypse ripoff, we might as well stick to the tropes. Gabby did show up in Kinney Wolverine, so maybe foreshadowing. Yes, James, that's true, that's true. And they were hyping it up as like the return of Gabby. So I guess maybe that might make sense. And yeah, no nose, he doesn't. It's gone again. This time he lost his face as well, though. So it's even worse. How he ends up like that, I guess we'll just have to see. And then I guess we've got two left. One that's really the one to talk about, and one that's just there. 1 second, let me get it up. And I guess while I'm doing this, just want to let everyone know, if you could like the live, that would be really useful. Um, and I guess if you've enjoyed it, let me know. Apologies about all the technical issues I've had throughout this, but thank you for sticking with me. Right. So I'm gonna do this one first. So Radioactive Spider-Man again feels pretty self-explanatory, but really there's like two options. Well, could be two options. I would hope that it's Miles. I would hope that it's Miles. I don't, he did turn. I don't. Oh, now I know there's people here that haven't read the Hellfire Vigil. Well, let's just say there's a little cameo from Miles in the Vigil. That's the only spoiler I'll give you. I'll give you Crisis for the Vigil. I know you've not got that yet. Um, Only a very brief cameo. So it'd be fun if he was involved in an X-Men event, because he's never been involved in an X-Men event. So not that I can think of. So it'd be fun if he was to be involved um as a side book. But obviously the other option is that um it's everyone's trusty favorite Peter Parker. Um Whether that's, but frankly, I think him being the radioactive Spider-Man is like the boring choice. We've already got we've already got you know we've already had a radioactive Spider-Man when he was like, he was poisoning Mary Jane, with all that. This is YouTube, so I'm not, but so I think that's the boring choice. It's this X-Men era though, so maybe it could be the boring choice, but I'm hoping for Miles. Um, Gonna look at some of the comments now. Jonathan oh, if it was, what if Jonathan mutated and became the last Wolverine? That I mean that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Hey, I'm here at my risk. Still 4 weeks behind. Yeah, you're catching up. I said that's the only, and it's not even. He's there for a page, a panel, so it's not really that big. If it's a next book, it could just be Kurt. That's true. Feels like a bit of a like a riff, like a we just did Nightcrawler Spider-Man a year ago, but 2 years ago now. Oh my god, the way time flies. We're the uncanny Spider-Man, but I take that if he's not part of the Cloak and Dagger book, and he's not part of Unbreakable X-Men. Um, I guess that would be interesting. Um, so yeah, but I'm gonna hope for Miles just because I would love to see him be involved in X-Men book in some way. And really, this could be like, I was gonna say like the Age of Apocalypse Chronicles sort of vibe of like it's like in that future world, but not about the X-Men, or like the Age of X universe book, which was like what are other heroes doing in this time. So maybe it's one of those books. Interesting there. So that's that one. So really, we've come to the last, but we've come to the last one. We made it all the way. I know some people are only joining for the end, but you can rewatch, I suppose. um, so the last book, which is perhaps the most obvious and vague, is X-Men Book of Revelation, which, well, there's a few options really. Um, I don't we and again we also don't know anything past October. Um, so we don't know. I don't. We don't know how the story will be, how the story will progress. I'm going to assume it's going to be a lot like Age of Apocalypse because obviously this is the 30th anniversary and they're just re redoing it. Um, so I'm going to assume it's going to be like all the different books and you have to read them all to get the story sort of vibe, or like they'll each have their own story, but it will have them coalescing into the end. This book, I think, has two options. Either, or really, it could be like the point of view of Doug, of Revelation. So is this going to take over the screen? It is. Oh, um, so it could be a Doug book, and from his point of view, and or maybe this is detailing the like those 10 years that we to where we got in the Age of Revelation, um, potentially. So it could be that, or it could be, as we said, with the Chronicles of Age of Apocalypse. It could be a, a wider book, or this could be like the main book that everything comes through. But my money is on it being a book about Revelation and Bay and Warlock. And I'm going to assume this is also written by Jed MacKay. Um, and while this event is intriguing, the main selling point for me is the fact of X-Men issue 19, which I know obviously Crisis you haven't read yet. Um, but it is a very good issue that like all of my hopes and dreams for this event were have been born from this one issue because it was such a good issue. Whether that will continue remains to be seen. But yeah, so Book of Revelation, it could either be a sprawling book, maybe it's about the history going up to those 10 years, maybe it's just a Doug centric book. Obviously, if he's gonna end up being the villain, who knows really. I'm gonna look at some of the comments as well. Again, for people that haven't been here the whole time, um, I couldn't, I don't know where the YouTube chat went on my streaming software, so I'm having to use it. I'm having to look at my phone. Um, yeah, Miles only really has a relationship to the X-Men via Cyclops and Champions, but yeah, it could very likely be cut. Like, who else is giving Radioactive as an X-Men? Who could be Spider-Man and support their own solo? Radioactive. There's no one that's nuclear. I don't. There's no one that's like nuclear or anything. I can't think. Yeah, I can't think of anyone that's radioactive. I think you're right, Ari. Age of Apocalypse Chronicles. I think Marvel won't spoil that stuff in right from the start since X-Men is meant to be more unified with the rest of the line now. And Books of Revelation should be about Nightcrawler. I mean, that would be interesting, but who would write it? Hopefully not Gail Simone. No. That's wrong. That's wrong. But yeah. So that's really the last book. Gone through all of them. Let me see if I can get up them all on one bit, and hopefully it won't take over the whole screen. We'll see. Okay, and we can quickly like do a recap of everything I've gone through. Okay, so it didn't take over everything. I'm gonna move to the. I'm gonna move this to this way and put this here. Boom. Okay. So so that those are all the 16 titles, and we'll go through each of them now. So Amazing X-Men, again, I think this is going to be the flagship. This is going to take over Adjective List. Probably going to be written by Jed MacKay. Probably going to have the team that we see on um here. Ooh. Probably the team that we can see on the main cover for the first issue. Again, why did it do that? Well, you know, you know who's on it. as I said, it's got Cyclops, Wolverine, uh, Glob, boo, get Glob away. No, Zorn, Magneto, but probably Ben Liu disguised as Magneto, Psylocke, and Beast looking like White Beast from the new X-Men times, which is interesting. But obviously, if you can tell already, I guess Jed McKay is a big new X-Men fan, so I guess he had to put that reference in somewhere. Unbreakable X-Men, we thought that it could be the Uncanny X-Men sort of book continued, but obviously Wolverine's not on the book. Rogue might be involved in Storm's book, so really it's um, anyone's game who it could be. I know we were saying earlier that it could potentially be uh, like a team of actual Unbreakable X-Men, like Frenzy, Cannonball, Juggernaut, but maybe Juggernaut's dead. He's not on the Amazing X-Men team, so maybe in this future where humanity is being erased, maybe Juggernaut was one of the first to die. We'll see. Expatriate X-Men, as we said, I think Expatriate X-Men obviously going to be the exceptional X-Men um, book, hopefully written by Eve Ewing. I think that might be just the young X-Men from Eve's book plus the Outliers together. As we saw in the time slide, one shot Bronze mentioned Jitter. So obviously they should be working together. So I think Expatriate X-Men is going to be all about the young X-Men of our time growing up. The last Wolverine we debated could be Wolverine, that would be the boring option. Could be Gabby, that would be the fun option. Could be Jonathan mutated into a human Wolverine. That would be another fun option. Binary obviously makes it look like it's Carol, but which it could be because her binary era is so heavily tied to the X-Men. Um, but I think it's most likely Phoenix just because of the wings on the side of the binary, which gives the old Phoenix logo. But it could also be Miss Marvel, sort of that tie between X-Men and and Miss Marvel. So we'll see. Cloak or Dagger, which was a really interesting one. Obviously, it could be Cloak and Dagger in a Marvel Rivals type situation where they share the same space, so you can only be they're only you get one or the other. You don't get both at the same time, which would be interesting, but would feel very like, oh, this is just for Marvel Rivals. And then what was my other suggestion? That it was like Psylocke and Nightcrawler. Or maybe it was Psylocke and Magic. That was the other one I didn't suggest. Maybe we're getting, obviously, because Psylocke and Magic are current solos, maybe they're merging together to become Cloak or Dagger. Or maybe it's just Magic and Danny Moonstar, which I would love either way. I think if I had to pick for those, I'm going to go. I would say, I would say Psylocke. No, I would say Danny and Magic, just because Psylocke is going to be an amazing X-Men, I think. So there you go. Iron and Frost, pretty self-explanatory. Obviously, Emma and Tony are getting back together. I don't know. I guess Jerry Duggan is haunting us from the grave now. Um, but they're getting back together or they're working together. They're probably going to be part of the resistance, protecting humans, what have you. There you go. Laura Kinney Sabretooth, I guess the 10 years took a toll on her and she turned into Sabretooth. Pretty self-explanatory again. I know someone was suggesting maybe that there's some link between Laura and Sabretooth. Maybe we could see that there. Maybe it's a Laura that's been resurrected and merged with Sabretooth or something. Who knows? Longshots. We were thinking it was going to be the Dazzler, sort of comparison, but it was going to be more about Longshot, Shatterstar, and Richter rescuing. Oh, wow. Let's say going on a rescue mission. For people there that haven't read the Hellfire Vigil. Then the Omega Kids, we were leaning towards it being Quentin Quire leading a school for mutants, which is crazy. Um, but uh, but there we go, I guess. Um, I don't think he's going to be a very good school teacher, but we'll see. We'll see. Radioactive Spider-Man. I don't know if we ever come up with a sort of. I don't think we came up with a clear thesis of that. We couldn't think of any radioactive X-Men. I'm trying to think now. I guess who can do energy stuff? Maybe Gambit. Maybe Gambit is the radioactive Spider-Man. Um, we'll see. But I'm hoping it's either Miles or I guess I'll take Kurt if it has to be. Maybe Cy Spurrier will come back and write that, I guess. Um, Rogue Storm obviously feels very much like it's going to be Storm with the maybe still with the Eternity Possession. Maybe she's merged that and she's going to be entering her Rogue Storm era in sort of terms of referencing that moment from Uncanny X-Men 147. I want to say, you can correct me if I'm wrong. Someone can fact check that. Um, but yeah, so I'm thinking it's going to be Storm's book. Obviously, Murewa has said that that's what it's going to become. But is Rogue going to get involved? Because Rogue Storm has Rogue's logo treatment. So maybe it's going to be a Storm Rogue team up, which would be interesting. It'd be nice to see Rogue not written by um, Gail Simone. But there we go. Then we have a Sinister's 6, which feels very much like a Hellions 2.0. Krakoan Hellions 2.0, maybe. And again, that could really be anything. I'm just going to go out there. Someone said earlier that it could have one of the Marauders or more, so I'm going to say it's going to be Grey Crow, um, and I think there's probably going to be there's going to be a clone of Jean Grey. There's going to be a Maddie Pryor there somewhere. Um, but we'll have to see. Undead-Pool, obviously Deadpool that's undead. Though I am hoping it's going to be Ellie, his daughter, instead of Wade. I think that'd be more interesting. Uh, less expected. So fingers crossed for that. X-Vengers, I guess, is the new Uncanny Avengers, but it doesn't roll off the tongue as well. I guess. Um, and really, as we said earlier, this could be literally anything. I've got no foundation for this. It could just be X-Men that have been Avengers. It could be. I mean, it would be. Wouldn't it be nice if this was like linked to Avengers Academy? Maybe it's some of the Avengers Academy characters all grown up and they're back in a new X-Men Avengers team. That'd be fun, wouldn't it? But maybe it will have, I don't know, Monet when she's out of prison, um, and Sunspot and Cannonball, and I'm trying to think of other. Well, I don't know. Maybe we'll get all new characters for this, and then X-Men Book of Revelation, which I think we were just deciding that it was going to be a maybe a Revelation book or Revelation focus book, or we're going to be detailing things about how we got to the 10 years, like a history book potentially. Um, Honestly, I would not be surprised, actually, just thinking about it, would not be surprised if Exodus doesn't appear, or does appear. I wouldn't be surprised if he does appear in that book, considering, he was writing his own Krakoan scripture, and I swear there was a book of. Was there a book of Revelation? Maybe there wasn't. Maybe I'm making that up. But I feel like it would be, it would make sense if Exodus showed up there, which would be nice because he's not shown up anywhere since there. And that's all of those books. All 16. Kind of can't believe that all 16 are coming out. I'm going to assume in October. That's crazy, particularly when the current X-Men books, unfortunately, aren't selling that well. I don't know why they think putting 16 new books is going to improve things. But here we are. That's I'm not the um I'm not the boss of Marvel. But there we go. So that's all 16 books. So I guess my final question for you all is what books stand out to you? What books, if you are, if you would be in an, just imagine, in an ideal world, what books would you be reading immediately? Just on obviously don't know anything about these. We'll find out about them next week. But just from the titles alone, what books are you like most interested in reading? And are there any books that you're just like, I could not care less? Just let me know, and then yeah. Again, I just want to say thank you so much for everyone that's watched this. If you watched in the beginning, thank you so much. If you just joined halfway through, thank you again so much. That means a lot. I will look at the comments now. So long chamber is radioactive, maybe. That's the other thing as well. What is the astonishing X-Men like book? Maybe that's X-Men book. Interesting. Longshots, a family rock band featuring Dazzler, Longshot, Shatterstar, and Richter with Lila Cheney, Siren, and Darkveil. Mutant Monroe, I'll take that. That that sounds like a fun book. I'd be here for a fun book. And Dune, you're saying Omega Kids. Omega Kids, that's what you're looking forward to. I think for me, obviously the main three X-Men books, they're just the X-Men books, so I'm sort of sold on that anyway. But I think for me, it's Cloak or Dagger. I think is the most like could be anything book. Cloak and Dagger, Cloak or Dagger, sorry. Binary is an interesting title, but I'll have to see. And Rogue Storm, I think, and Omega Kids. And I think I've convinced myself that Expatriate will be the best or the most interesting because it's going to be all the young. I'm convincing myself that it's the young kids together, all of them, like the outliers and the exceptional X-Men. Maybe let's get in Zyber from X Factor as well. And if it's written by E Viewing, then it's going to be all those characters are going to feel real, like real people. Um, Boy, you're saying Expatriate, Cloak or Dagger, Longshots, Omega Kids, and X-Vengers. X-Vengers as well is another like I was gonna say Longshot. It's just another vague one. Um, but it's so interesting. So I guess we'll have to see. Yeah. So that's that's it really. That's covered everything. I'm surprised we're at the end. I made it through. We had some technical difficulties. Apologies, like it was like half an hour late. We made it. We made it to the end, everyone. Thank you. We did it. So I guess if anyone has any other questions that are either related to this or just in general, if you've got any other questions, Q&A stuff, um, fire away. Otherwise, I guess this will be it. But yeah, let me know. If you've got any comments, just let me know. We'll go from there. What you're saying, it just generally just depends on the cast. If I like the characters, I don't care what the plot is. I'll suffer through it. Yeah, I feel that. Um, yeah, I think yeah, yeah. You know what? I agree, but because there are some books that I'm buying now, Uncanny X-Men, that that I'm just not really enjoying. But I do like the cast of people, or I'm an X-Men fan, so I feel that. Um, but then even if it's a good plot, though, if it's a good plot that I find enjoyable, I'll find myself going back to it. So it's really I don't know. I don't. None of them. None of these books. I'll give them that. Is that they've put me off. They all sound interesting. I suppose Iron and Frost is the one that I'm like, particularly if it's not being written by. Because I think in the end, Jerry Duggan convinced me of the relationship. Um, but we'll see. So I'm not expecting a good plot point from this era. Is the thing. Well, I guess if we lower our expectations, if we lower our expectations, then we will we will be pleasantly surprised if something is good. But again, this is being led by Jed McKay, and as I was saying earlier, X-Men 19, if you've not read it, is actually a really good one issue story, focusing on Revelation and setting up things for this event. And it was it was really good. Probably like maybe the best issue of his series. So, you know, I'm I'll stay optimistic. Um, but yeah, I'll stay optimistic. Okay, now that's everything from me. So again, I know there's a bit of a delay, so I'll let it just go for another 20 seconds ish. But if that's everything, then I think this live has come to an end. I just want to say big thank you to everyone that's watched. If you've watched for 40 seconds, if you've watched the whole way through. For the people commenting, thank you again so much for actually commenting. I was half worried that there was going to be no one in the live and I was just going to be talking to myself the whole time. So thank you for being here, and thank you for putting up with all the technical issues as well. That was rough, but thank you. And I guess if anyone's watching this on the replay, thank you for that as well. And I guess I'll probably do another live stream at some point. I don't exactly know when. Um, we'll see if there's any other major things. I guess you could always let me know as well if there's sort of particular live streams you want me to do or anything like that. But just let me know. But yeah, if this is everything, I just want to again say thank you, and I'll see you all again in the next video, whenever that will be.